This is Jacob, founder CEO of Hermetica, and I'm here today to talk to you about USDH and the yield opportunities that comes with it. So let me explain how USDH works, because it's really quite simple. We set out to build a stablecoin that is fully backed by Bitcoin. And how we do this is that we hold Bitcoin, the protocol holds Bitcoin on the spot market, and then shorts the same amount of Bitcoin on the futures markets. And what happens if you do that is that you essentially lock in the dollar value of Bitcoin. So you can think of USDH as a dollar or as Bitcoin without exposure to price. One USDH is always $1 worth of Bitcoin. And now that is obviously a really cool innovation, because you can stable dollar value without ever relying on the banking system, on the fiat system. You can hold a dollar that is backed by Bitcoin and native to the Bitcoin ecosystem. But it doesn't stop there. There's actually another element that makes it even more exciting. And that is, since a lot of folks want to be long Bitcoin, people want to have leverage on Bitcoin, and the protocol is essentially selling this leverage by shorting the futures markets, there is a yield. There's an interest rate that is getting paid to the protocol. And folks that stake the stablecoin, so you can come to our app, I'll show you that in a second, and stake USDH, you get paid every day a very significant yield. Since the beginning of the protocol around a year ago, folks that have been staking have earned around 16% of APY on their USDH in dollars, fully backed by Bitcoin. Now let's jump over to the app so I can give you an overview of how it works and show you how simple it is. So here you're on the app, and it's really quite simple. You can take any Stacks asset and swap into USDH. So I've selected Stacks here, STX, and you can just simply swap into USDH any amount you want. I already have some, so I'm not going to do that right now. This is powered by BitFlow in the backend. So you're just swapping through some DeFi pools, and you can do this with Stacks, SBTC, but you can also do this with USDC on Ethereum. So you have some USDC lying around, it's not earning any yield, it's actually still fiat backed, and you wanted to put it into a Bitcoin backed stablecoin and earn yield. You can do this all in our app. You can connect your MetaMask wallet or Phantom or OKX wallet on Ethereum, and then go directly from Ethereum into USDH on Stacks. Now, once you have some USDH in your wallet and you want to earn that sweet yield, you can come to stake. And again, super simple. You can select how much you want to stake and then just execute the staking transaction, and you're right there. Now, what you receive is staked USDH. It's a token. You can buy, you can sell it, you can hold it, you can transfer it. Staked USDH goes up in value. So you see here, the price of one SUSDH is right now 1.18. So it goes up every day. And how you see that is if you go to the portfolio tab. Portfolio tab shows you how much USDH you have in your wallet, but also how much you have staked. And it shows you how much APY you're getting. I've earned a total yield of $1 over the time that I've been staking. You see here the value of SUSDH goes up quite nicely. This is a chart that is beautiful to look at, right up and to the right. And then here on the bottom, you see every day, this was yesterday, you get a payment into your wallet. And how is that done? Is that the price of staked USDH is going up. So yesterday it was a 0.03% yield that you received, or that I received, and my balance went up accordingly. Now, that is how the protocol works, or how you can interact with it. Very simple. You can swap into it, you can stake, you can obviously unstake and claim it, and then you can watch your portfolio grow. If you want to understand more about the behind the scenes of USDH and the protocol, you can come to our magnificent dashboards. You have the transparency and the APY dashboards here, and they show you exactly what's going on in the protocol. So you see the protocol right now is backed 101% by Bitcoin. I explain in a second why it's 101%. So it's over collateralized at the moment. You see what it's backed by. mainly Bitcoin, right? Right now it's $6 million in Bitcoin, $200,000 in liquid stables. Why is there some liquid stables in here? Because folks that go in and out of the protocol choose to do so mainly in USDC and USDT. So folks come into the protocol in USDT and also want to go out of it by receiving USDT. And that's why there's a little bit of liquid stables in here. The secondary price is stable, like a stable coin should be, always around 1. And then if you go deeper down, you see actually really what's going on behind the scenes. Since we're short the futures markets, we have to trade on centralized exchanges. This is done by holding the Bitcoin not on the exchange, this is very important, but in qualified custodians, institutional grade custodians, namely Seifu and Copper. And they allow us to trade on the exchanges without actually ever holding the coins on the exchange. So we're not exposed to the exchange's balance sheet. So if they go bankrupt, our coins are safe. And you see here exactly where the funds are. We're trading on Binance, Bybit, OKX, and BitGet. And you see here some of the coins are on Binance, or the majority, really 41%, and some of it on Bybit, etc. And you have it here broken down also in a pie chart. Now, this is all nice. You see this in real time updating, but it is us showing you what's going on. But you don't have to trust us. You can actually come down here and you see attestations. You see Copper and Seifu, those are custodians. And if you click on, let's look at the latest one on August, we just published this a week or so ago. You see the exact breakdown of how many assets are in the protocol, how many USDH are actually on chain. You can verify this yourself. We're live on Stacks and Runes. So here's the two different ways to verify the circulating supply of USDH. But then you also see where are the assets, and they're held on Copper and Seifu. There's also some on chain, on Stacks, on Ethereum, the reserve fund, which we'll talk about in a second. And then, most importantly, you have attestations signed by the directors of these custodians to actually attest to these funds being in their custody. So you don't have to trust us. You can actually go and verify it yourself. Obviously, the things that are on chain, you can do and verify yourself as well. And you see here, it's over collateralized, as we said on the website as well. Now, we said that it's 101% over collateralized. The 1% extra comes from the reserve fund. The reserve fund is essentially a buffer that is used every time there's a negative yielding environment. Sometimes the funding rates, which is the interest rate paid by the futures, goes negative, and we actually have to pay to have the position open. It's quite rare. We'll get to that in a second. But when that happens, the reserve fund kicks in and makes it so users really only see a positive or a 0% yield. That's where the reserve fund comes in. But now let's jump over to the APY dashboard and look at how the return profile of USDH looks like. We have the historical APY. This is 7-day APY metrics. You can see it's fluctuating. It was very high at some point, 70%, but on average, it's quite significant, significantly above 10%. And over the last 7 days, it's been 9%. Over the last 30 days, it's been 10.23%. Now, there is, as I said, negative funding days. And you have a chart here. If you look at all time, it's around 16%, I believe, yes, that there's a negative day. And that is where the reserve fund kicks in and buffers that out. We also show you how much the USDH APY is above the 3 months treasury, right? This is the reserve asset of the world, the reference rate of the world. And as you can see, it's very significantly above, except for very small periods of time, above that interest rate. So it's more attractive than what TradFi can offer. And last but not least, this pie chart shows you that most of the time, actually, the yield is above 15 or 10 to 15%, right? Only 4% of the time it was between 0 and 5%. So that is the complete app. I invite you to come in and check it out, poke around, see really how it works, swap some, stake it, look at your portfolio to grow. If you want to stay informed, you can come to our website, hermetica.fi, put in your email here at the very bottom of the website, and you'll get a weekly email with updates of what we're doing, what we're seeing in the ecosystem, etc. And then obviously come and say hi on X. I'm Jacob, underscore BTC. And then you can also follow Hermetica FI and keep up to date that way. Thanks so much, guys.